In the first part we have learned about what are the rich UI widgets and what are the Dojo widgets that are available inside EGL environment, and we also learned about how to debug rich UI application. Now still there are rich UI widgets remaining that we have to cover in this section, and then if there is time remaining for today's class, then we may continue with web services part. If you have any question, please go ahead. You can ask me here or you can type in the chat window. I'm just waiting for 2 minutes. Maybe some other guys join us. Hope everyone can see my screen and they can everyone can see my screen and have audio. That's perfect. Okay. Okay, let's continue. In the first part today, we were learning about what are the rich UI widgets, and we have seen some of the widgets that help us to create different interaction controls on our page. We have seen different input and some sort of different widgets. Now we are continuing with the layout widgets. We have a number of layout widgets in EGL through which we can design the layout of our application. Like we have accordion, we have border container, we have box layout, we have grid stack container, and we have a TabContainer and title pane. In the last session, I have shown you the demo of these containers. Now let's quickly go through these widgets and see their definitions. These containers help you to design your page and put some other widgets inside of these containers. In this way, you can design your page. So these containers play the role of definitely they are containers, so they contain other widgets, and they have children properties in which we would be mentioning the name of those widgets that we want to be displayed inside of these containers. That will exist inside of these containers. They have certain properties. They have certain events and through which we control the behavior of these containers. We will be learning about these concepts, like what is the initial UI and what are the children and relationship between them and relationship among container and their children. For example, we have multiple containers and each container have different widgets. Then how we can establish our relationship between these widgets and containers. How we can model our visual layout of the application. initial UI, as we have seen in the rich UI handlers, when we are creating a rich UI handler, then there is a property, its name is initial UI, where we are mentioning the name of a container or the list of widgets that we want to be displayed at the first time when this page is going to be loaded in the memory of the browser. So initial UI represents the first UI that is going to be drawn on the page. And later on, if there is some other widgets or containers on your page but they are hidden or visible false, then on the fly you can make them visible true and you can hide other containers. Now it's up to you and up to our requirement how we design and how we manage the layout and different functionality between the containers and widgets. Same way we have a children property. All of these containers have initial UI and children properties. In the initial UI, we will be giving the container name or the array of widgets, so which we are going to specify that okay, this container is going to hold this widget is the initial UI and it has so and so children means widgets inside of this. I hope yesterday we have talked about the DOM, document object model. Same way we can consider, like for example, there is a box container on our page. We can understand box is an HTML table. Like in the HTML table, we have different rows, we have different columns, and within the columns and rows, we have cells. So on each cell, we place some components, some text, some data. So these containers or the text boxes and some other containers, they are being translated or converted into HTML table and divs, so which we are just going to design our layout. Here we have an example of rich UI handler. We can see the initial UI. In the initial UI, we have a box. Box is a container, and inside of the box, if you see at the declaration, we have a children property, and inside the children property, we have 3 different components. So this box holds 3 components. So these 3 components: my first text label, my first text field, and button. These 3 widgets will be displayed inside of the box. And box itself is going to be displayed as the initial UI of this page, of this rich UI handler. And later on, dynamically, we can add more children inside of this box, or even we can directly add another box, a different box, at the initial UI of this page. So dynamically, our rich UI handler will behave differently. It will have different style and different widgets. Let's go in the detail. In the initial UI, we have like if we see example here on this slide, in this dialog demo, rich UI handler, we have 2 components in the initial UI. We have a UI that is a box container, and it has some other children like this new button and text field. And we have another widget that is a dialog box, and these 2 widgets are set as the initial UI for this handler. Same way we have AccordianContainer, where as I have shown you in the first session today, there is a AccordianContainer where we can place different widgets inside of each container panel, if you are familiar with Outlook, Microsoft Outlook, there is accordion panel being used, and each accordion panel has different layout panels where we can place different widgets. So it represents a different section. You can say it's a different section of as per our need. For example, we have a section for students, we have section for teachers, we have section for subjects, and each section has a dedicated panel or container where we can place different widgets. So we are going to combine all these three different panels or containers under the accordion container. So in this way, we are presenting a good style to present our different widgets in a good way, to manage them, and through which we do different interaction. And same as there are some properties to this accordion container, like duration, how much time it will take to open a new panel. For example, we have three panels. If you see here on this slide, we have topic 1, topic 2, and topic 3. For example, I am going to click on topic 1, then how much time, millisecond, it will take to open the topic 1 panel. Means either if it can instantly, very fastly open the top panel, or it slowly it opens the panel with slow animation. So in the duration property, we will be mentioning the number of milliseconds. And then we have selection property, for which we say, okay, this panel, like topic 2, would be the initially opened, visible inside of this container. Same way we have width and height property, and there are some other events associated with this accordion panel. As we have talked about HTML widget, where we can put our custom HTML text like HTML divs, HTML tables, HTML some other HTML text like lists, ordered list, unordered list, bold characters, and some other. So we can use any HTML text with using that inside of that HTML widget. I will be showing you a demo on this, how we can use HTML widget and how we can put our custom HTML tag inside of that widget. Here we are trying to highlight two containers that we have in HTML, in normal HTML or in pure HTML. We have div and tables, through which we normally design our websites. We put our different components, widgets, and data inside of this div and table. Now still we can use this methodology or this design pattern through which we can lay out our design. So we would be creating a div HTML widget, and inside of that HTML widget we will be giving the definition of div or table tag. We have box widget. Box widget is similar to HTML table, where we put our different widgets on different cells in different positions. Here we have example of this box. If you see here, we have a box with columns on. We have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On the first example, box 1 sample, we have single column and 5 rows. So in this box, we have placed all components in a single column. And in the second example, we have 2 columns and we have same 5 lines. So we have 10 components that appear equally in both columns, like 5 in one column and 5 in another column. Same way we can create number of columns, we can create number of rows through which we can design the layout for our page. Same way there are some properties that we can apply on the box widget. For example, what will be the size of this box, what will be the height, width, and background color and font properties for this box. And there are some events available which we can apply on this box as well, like on mouse hovering or mouse enter or mouse exit events. Here we are going to see, like from the outline view, as we have previously seen, that from the outline view we have an outline of our rich UI handler. For example, we have 5 boxes on our page inside of our rich handler. From the outline view, we can see what are the widgets that are children of box 1, and what are the widgets that are children of box 2. And in this way we can have an outline or graphical view of all those widgets that are present on our page. And here we can drag these widgets, and we can shift these widgets from one box to another box. And same way we can do some properties manipulation with the help of this property view. For example, assigning some properties, font color, background color, and some other things. Okay. Same way here we are trying to show that when you have a box or grid layout on your page, and when you are going to drop a component or widget on your box or grid layout, then it will opens a pop-up sort of window, and it will be highlighting that you are going to drop your widget at this point. Here we have different snapshot given here. Here we are seeing that if you see here, we have a green line. This green line denotes that, okay, this component is going to be placed after this field, or before this field and under this box. So in this way we can have idea that, okay, this component is going to be placed inside of this box and before or after this widget. This goes for, this is similar to box and grid layout as well. Whenever you are placing your component inside of grid layout or box layout, same sort of pop-up will appear where it graphically shows you, okay, you are going to drop your widget at this point, after this widget, and inside of this container. Okay, same way we have a grid layout. Grid layout is a bit advanced version of box layout. Here we have same style, but we have more control on this layout. For example, graphically we can add new lines, we can add multiple columns, we can combine multiple cells, but in the box we cannot combine multiple cells. Like in the, and if you use you can see, like in HTML tables or inside of Microsoft Word, we have drawn a table and we are merging different cells. So same way here, on the grid layout we can merge different cells, but in the box layout we cannot merge different cells. And same way there are definitely some properties like children property for this grid layout, width property, height property, columns property, layout property, and some other properties like background property, border properties, and events property, events associated with this grid layout. Okay, we have another stack container layout it works as a stakes, and where we can put multiple components in separate stakes, and one stake will be visible at one time. Same way we have TabContainer. For example, if you want to have a tab sort of widget on your page, then you can use this Dojo TabContainer, where within a single tab you can have different widgets or even another container. And in second tab you can have some other widgets, and in the third tab you can have some other widgets. The same way there are some properties and events associated with this TabContainer as well. Now we are coming to tile pane, Dojo tile pane, where, for example, you would be having some sort of like panel, which is a collapsible. Like you can expand it, you can collapse it. You can open it, you can close it. And inside of this pane, this tile pane, you can place your components, or you can place another container like grid layout, box layout, TabContainer, accordion. It's up to you. Now that was about the layout widgets. Now we are going to see the number of widgets that we have for visualization of our data. For example, how we can visualize our data. Here we have like pie charts, line graphs, bubble charts, and bar graphs. This is a bar graph chart. Here we show our data in a graphical manner using the different bars with different sizes. It has different properties like bar graph, like the gap between the graphs, and like the data, where we will be like putting our data, array of data. It will be showing in the format of this bar, and we will be mentioning the height and width of this this bar graph, that how much the bar should be shown in the height, and what would be the width of this total bar graph. And there are some other events that are associated with this bar graph. Same way we have a bubble chart, where we have a bubble on the screen, and through which we are showing our data in different bubble format. Like small bubble is representing small amount of data, and big bubble is showing a big chunk of data. Same way there are some events. And then we have like line graph, through which we can show lines like we normally see in the forecasting or stock markets. We are showing different like lines, for which we are representing our data. Okay, we have another pie chart. It's a pie-based chart. Means we are presenting our data in a pie format. We have a circle where we have different pies, and we are showing the size of different amounts. So that was about the different widgets that represent that helps us to visualize our data. Now, and let's go to a demo section where we will be going to learn about these widgets. If you have any questions, please go ahead before we go for demo, and then if there is a time remaining, then I will start the web services part. Otherwise, we will start web service part by tomorrow. Any question regarding these widgets or these pie charts or anything else? or any question, for example, you have tried creating some demo and you tried to explore the widgets and you found something weird or different, then you can share your experience here. Any concern or question? Okay, let me show you how Dojo is like embedded, or it comes with your projects. Once you have installed RBD, Dojo library is made available inside of this RBD tool. And with Dojo, there is EGL Rich UI library. So these two libraries come by default with RBD tool. Now, when we are going to create a new project, here we have selected a Rich UI project type, giving it a name like free demos. Next. Now I just press next. If you can see here, we have list of widget libraries. EGL Rich UI widgets version 4.1.0 and EGL Dojo widgets version 2.1.12. If you don't like to use Dojo widgets, just uncheck this library. In this way, by default, it will not reference inside of your project. But later on, if you like to reference this library again, then you can go in the properties of your project and you can reference this library. Now let's select this both libraries and just press finish. Let's once again see the default structure of this project that is being generated by the ID. So these are the default folders that are being generated by the ID. Okay. Now let's go create a new package where we would like to put our handlers. Give it any name, just Rich UI handler. My Dojo examples. Okay. Now, if you can see, this is a grid layout. Let me open the properties view here. Here, if you see, this is a properties view, and all those properties that are associated with this layout are like graphically highlighted here. Or we can graphically we can assign some values from this properties view, rather than remembering and memorizing these different properties. And here we have a list of events that we can apply on this widget. Same way, we have an outline view. If you see here on the outline, what it's showing here, it's showing only grid layout, because right now we have nothing on this handler. We have a single grid layout. Now let's go here. Let me show you. So if you see, all Dojo components that comes from the Dojo library, they are highlighted in the bracket as a Dojo. If you see, this is the button, and in the bracket there's Dojo word written. So this indicates that this button is from Dojo library, and this second button is from the EGL native library. Same way, we have some other items here. Each Dojo has Dojo written in the bracket, and other component who doesn't have Dojo, they are written as a plain. Now let me go back here and let's see the difference between Dojo button and normal Dojo normal Rich UI button. If you see it in the outline view, both things are being highlighted. Let's click on the preview. Now almost there is no difference, but even in the Dojo, when we are hovering, it's changing the color. automatically, but in the rich UI it's not changing. Plus we have 4 themes available that we can apply for Dojo widgets, but we do not have any like multiple themes for native rich UI widgets. Okay, let's go here and let's see. If you like to have an image on your page, just copy the image tag here. An image will appear. Now go back in the properties view. Let me first copy an image. Now select your web content folder. Select right click, new and folder. Now create a folder or images or image, whatever you give it a name, and then let me copy an image here, just drop it here. Now we have this image. Now select this image widget, go in the source, in the journal part, and then images. See, this is the image that we have. Same way you can increase the size of this image, like 200 width. It is a this way you can, in the preview you can see the image on our page. Okay, now let's go and what are the other widgets? Okay, here we have this HTML widget available. You can just copy here. When you are, let me highlight this thing. Okay, if you see here, when I am going to drop this widget on this layout, it's highlighting the sales position where I am going to drop this widget. Its highlighting is with a green color. I hope you can you can see this. It means this widget is going to be placed on this cell. Okay. Now it's just showing HTML. Now let's go in the source view and let's see what is the code been generated for us. Okay, let me explain to you. This is the code been generated for the Dojo button. Here we have a Dojo. This is the type of this button, and this is the like variable name. In this case, we have button is a variable name, and its type is Dojo button. And in the curly braces, we have specified few properties. Like we have a layout property, and then we new grid layout, where we are creating a new layout for this button. Okay, and then we are specifying that okay, this button should be placed at the row 1 and column 2. Then we have specified a new property. Its name is like text, where we can give any value. Like for example, this is Dojo button. Same way for normal widgets, you can. This is Rich UI button. Now even you can change name button. If you see, I have just changed this name, and this was the older name, so I have to make correction everywhere where this button is being referenced with the older name. Same way I can make it Dojo button. I can just copy it here, and if you see here, same way for image property, image, I can have image. I can change name image. Okay. Here, this is the type of widgets, and this is image type. within the curly braces we have layout, and here we are telling like, okay, this would be this should be going on the row 2 and column 3, and the source, the image source location is this one inside of this images folder, and this is the file name, and the image size should be the width would be 100 pixels and height would be should be in 150 pixels. You can code your widget on multiple lines. It's up to you, or even you can place them on a single row. There is no error messages. For example, I can have on multiple lines. If you can see, there is no error messages. So it's up to you. Whatever is like more visible and readable to you, you can place them on a single row, on multiple rows. Now, okay, same way we have this HTML, and this is the layout position, and now this is the text that is going to be rendered on the page. Now here we would be giving our HTML text. Let's say I'm giving a bold. This is HTML bold. Just save the file, click the preview. If you see, this whole text is written in a bold format. So let me just copy this here, and I can HTML can place it here. Now only this one will be, if you can see, this is only HTML word is in a bold format. So in this way you can place your divs, you can place your images, whatever, it's up to you. For example, let me do this in this way. Sorry, image. Here we have an image, same image, but this image comes from with the help of HTML tag. So in this way, you can embed your custom HTML tags, like your divs, HTML tables, or some other tags. It's up to you. Okay, now let me show you an important dialog box through which we control different aspect of our projects. If you see at the top of this RBD tools, we have a Windows menu, and here we have a preferences option. If you click on this, a window will appear, or a dialog box will appear. Here we have different sections available, like general section, where we are going to configure the general settings regarding this whole environment. For example, what will be the appearance for the fonts and colors in the directories, capabilities. For example, in this workspace, in this environment, what type of tools that you want to use here. For example, I want to use BERT reporting, BI reporting tool. Then I would be using BERT one. If, for example, I want to have a modeling tool, UML modeling tool, I can select the corresponding this option. For example, I want to have some working on manipulate with, or some advanced working on XML, then I can select this XML capabilities. So in this way, you can select different properties, you can configure properties. Same way in the editors, you can set the editor related properties, like you can set the background color for your reserved word, for your keywords, and some other properties. Like, for example, you don't like your keywords to appear in a red color. You want your keywords to appear in a blue color. So here, from this window, under this general category, inside of this editors, you can set your editor. Same way, there are so many other properties, like we have browser properties. Here we can configure that when we are going to run this application on the server, then where this RBD should run our application, in the embedded browser within the RBD tool, or using an external browser that is present on our machine. Right now I have a single browser installed on my machine, that is Internet Explorer. For example, there are multiple browsers like Chrome, Firefox, Safari, or some others. Then I can they will be automatically detected here. If they are not detected here, I can click new, and then I can locate their location, exe file, and then I can make that browser as my default browser. So whenever I'm going to run my application, that will be opened in that browser. Same way, we have an EGL section. Here we do some like property setting. For example, if you see here, we have a support for BERT reports. For example, I have selected this option. Now I can create BERT reports. Same way, if I select this support for Jasper reports, low-level MQ APIs, LDAP, or support for IBM I objects. In this way, once I have selected these things and I just press apply and OK, so these functionalities or these features will be available within my environment. Otherwise, my project and environment will raise me in error messages, because the associated functionality is not being activated within the environment. So by setting these features or these properties, you are activating those functionalities. So same way, bi-directional or in the debug mode, here we can debug. Okay, I want to debug at the first line of initial run code, and some other properties. Editor generations, for example, if you want to generate in COBOL, here you can select COBOL option. If you like to generate in a Java, you can select the Java option. If you like to generate for JavaScript, then you can select this JavaScript option. Same way, page designer. For example, when we are going to create EGL web projects that generate JSF handler, Java server faces handler, those are a bit similar to rich UI handlers, but those handlers are based on JSF technology. So here we would be configuring different properties like SQL properties. We will be configuring like either we want to use the lowercase format and uppercase format, either we want to use type string and some other properties. Same way, if there are multiple connections and we want to set a default connection that would be by default picked up by projects, then here we can select any connection. So there are some other properties here like server properties. Here we can add the profiles, we can add the runtime environment for different servers. Like here, if you can see, we have Apache available. We can have IBM's list of servers. We have JBoss, we have Oracle, and some others, and even we can add some new custom servers here. And then we can apply validations. For example, once you are creating a new file and you are writing some code inside of that file, either in rich UI handler, or you are creating a JavaScript file or XML file or Java file, these validators will apply and they validate your file according to the standards. So there are some other properties. Let me just close this here and let's come back to our topic, and now let's create few examples here. Now I'm going to create another file. If you have any question, please go ahead regarding these widgets, properties, or some other things. me see if there is we have a question. Are these references carried over whenever we change workspaces? Let me quickly brief you. Maybe some people are not aware. They have no idea or may have little knowledge about the workspaces. We have a concept inside of RBD in rational tool, or even we have similar concept in the Eclipse tool. Workspace is a folder or definitely it's a folder on your hard disk where you are going to create your multiple projects. In this way, you are just organizing your different projects. Rather than dumping all projects at one place, it is better to create different sections or different folders, and each folder contains multiple projects or the related projects. So we call them this folder structure or this pattern to divide your projects or manage your projects. We call them a workspace. If you see here, I have a path. On this path we have different projects. For example, I'm going for this previous EGL trainings folder. Now it's going to load this. It's going to load the previous folder, and there I do have some other projects that I have created in the previous training sessions. I have this list of projects that I created in the last session. In this way, I'm just managing my my projects. So these projects are related to my first training, the previous training, and these topics, this EGL training November. In this folder, I'm having only project that I'm going to create in this training session. Now I have a question that I got on the chat, that if we have made few changes in the preferences dialog box, so these changes will be carried on to the different workspace, or they will be applied globally. Whatever the workspace we create, whatever the project we create, no, they are only applied to the current workspace. In the new workspace, you have to reset your settings according the need of that workspace, according the need of those projects that are related to each other and that you want to put inside of a same workspace. Okay, now let's come back to our demo. I will be showing you. Let me see if any other question. I don't see any other question. This pie chart here. Now let's go in the background of this pie chart and let's change some data from pie chart and see what will happen. If you see, we have these properties. We have radius properties. Let's change the radius properties into 50 to see the preview. What will happen? Oh, it comes in this pie chart comes in a small with small radius. And maybe width of this this whole width and height for this whole pie chart. Offset position for your text that will appear within each pie. And maybe we have four items that will be 4 different pies that will be that are going to be displayed inside of this pie chart. We can have 1 or 2. we have to same way. Let's the grid getting this component. Have an accordion on our page. Now within the accordion I can place different widgets here. For example, in the accordion I can place a calendar widget in the first accordion. Let me highlight this thing. I'm just going to select a calendar widget. If you see here, I'm going to drop it in the first pane of this accordion. This first one is highlighted, and there's a pop-up appearing on this screen. It's highlighting that I'm going to drop this component, this current widget, the Dojo content pane. Now this is inside of my first pane. Now I've clicked on the second topic one. Select any other component, for example, Dojo grid here. Click on the third one. Option here. Click on the preview. As you see, in the first accordion pane, I have this Dojo 8 widget, and in the second, I have Dojo grid. Because by default we have specified limited width for this accordion, so these components are like not on. There is coming a scroll bar. Plus we can give its width and height for this accordion. So let's go in the properties view, and now let's try to set few properties graphically using the properties view. Open your data view, select your accordion. It's an easy way to select your component. Sometimes if there are so many components on your page, it becomes a bit difficult to select desired component. If you can see how everything is visible here. We have accordion. Inside of accordion we have different widgets. One time only one pane is visible. Anyway, let's say we want to have more panes available inside of this accordion. Just click this accordion, and there would be a property through which we can create new panes. And see, I have just selected the widget, and I can right click and I can delete that widget as well. The layout. So in the source view, from the source view, I can create this new accordion here. Take this line, give a comma so that we can put another in here, third one, and this one. Now give it topic 4, topic 5. save the file, come in the preview. So you can see we have 4 and 5. Select the 4 one, and you can place your different put this tree here. Click in the preview. Here we have a tree. Let's see the code for this tree. Here is the code for tree. Okay, this is the code for tree. Here we have a tree node. This tree node has top node is in North America. Inside of that node we have 2 nether nodes. These 2 will be children for this node. If you see, these both are inside of the children property. Then we have this tree node Europe, and it has two different children. Same way, these both itself are the child for this tree node. It comes under the world tag. This way you can work with these things. So let me show you the default HUI widgets that we have available. The same example we've seen in the debug example. I'm going to run an example. This is basically trying to use same widgets here. I'm going to click here. These all are native widgets. It's like Abdul and hit executing an on-click event. On the events, if you can see here, we have number of widgets that are available. And if we have a box, if you see here at the bottom, mouse button and mouse move events is being triggered. And same way, if a button, this is a button entered, outed, and checkbox selected, unselected, and same way. If you see, this is a tree that is based on the native HUI widgets. Not much beautiful to the tree that we have seen in the Dojo library. Same way we have validations. We have already seen the validations. So data display. If you see, these are the different charts. But this chart is not much intuitive or more crispy as compared to Dojo one. And we have pie charts. We can sort. This is simple HUI grid. This is not a Dojo grid. Same if you see here, we have an event. I'm trying to play a game here. In the services, for example, here services, going to run a local service. Tomorrow we will be learning about the same way we have RSS feeds. For example, you want to have some feeds to be loaded dynamically. It's going to load the RSS feeds. And dynamic loading. So these are the few components that we have available in the HUI library. So, any question regarding these things before we end our session? Tomorrow we will be continuing with web services and databases part. I have a question, is there a way to copy all these preferences settings and apply them onto another workspace? So there is no way to copy these preferences settings, apply them on another workspace. Basically, when you are going to create preferences or you are modifying some preferences, then inside of the workspace there is a folder, a hidden folder, where it stores all those configuration related information. It modifies that have effect throughout your project. So it has so the Eclipse and RBD, these rational tools, they store information, these preferences related information in XML format, in like text format, in a properties format, or in a like encrypted format. So we are unable to like understand that information, or we can copy from one workspace to another workspace. We always have to do changing from, we have to apply new settings from in one workspace and again in the another workspace. Maybe in future there would be a solution through which we can extract the settings that we have done in workspace, and we can shift them over to new workspace. Okay. Hope any other question before I close this session? Okay. Tomorrow we will be covering two important topics. One is creating and consuming web services. Another topic we will be seeing is how we can call databases inside of our rich UI applications. Any other questions? I don't see any questions, so I'm going to close this session. Please try to go through these slides, have an experience on these labs and these things what we have covered today. Try to explore these widgets and try to play with them, create a rich UI handler, put some widgets on that handler and try to change their properties. See in the properties view what are the properties are there against each widget, and when you are changing a property value, what effect is happening on that widget, and what are the events available, and try to use multiple events like on-click events, on focus events, on lost events. This way you can see how these widgets are working and how events are being fired and how you are organizing and designing your page. And also try to use CSS file, CSS properties within your widgets or on your handler. See how you can modify the default look and feel of these widgets. Let's try to debug your programs, whatever you have created, and see how you can understand them and how you can modify them, the values of those variables that are present inside of your rich UI handler. And this is what you have to do. If you face any type of like problem or difficulty, any issue, just let me know. Either email me or tomorrow you just ping me and I will help you out in those issues. Thank you very much for your time, and tomorrow we will meet at the same time. Take care. Okay, bye. Thanks.